I want to say shalom, shalom, call, halal, Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh Shah, which means all praise goes to the Father, in the name of the Son, Yahweh Shah, who the word ignorantly called Jesus Christ. We're the Hebrew Israelites, sons of God count. I'm brother Gideon Bun Israel.
Brother Ezekiel.
Brother Kazak.
All right, today we're going to be going into diving into the book of Revelation, the 20th chapter. You know what I'm saying? We see a lot of brothers in the community, and we see a lot of we know Christians struggle with the whole Bible, but we see a lot of Israelites, you know what I'm saying, going into this book and they you know what I'm saying, they struggling with it, mainly because when you read mostly any of the books in Revelation, you can't read everything verse for verse like it's going in chronological order. And that's why I think a lot of our brothers are getting, you know what I'm saying, confused with when they going into Revelation the 20th chapter, because they read it in chronological order. And you can't read it like that. You read it like that, you're gonna stumble, and you're gonna get tripped up with it. So Lord willing, you know what I'm saying, we can bring out some edification and understanding Revelation the 20th chapter. So, you know what I'm saying, we want to get right into it. Let's any other brothers got something they want to say.
Not caught up.
All right. Bring out that Revelation the 20th chapter.
This is the book of Revelations, chapter 20, verse 1. And I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand.
All right, go to
And he laid
the
hold
next
on the
verse
dragon.
before we start breaking it down. All right.
Con. Verse 2. And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil, and Satan, and bowed him 1,000 years.
I know a lot
Verse
of
3.
Christians. No, you start right there. I know a lot of Christians, you know what I'm saying, when they read it, they're gonna think that the Lord is really bounding the spirits of being Satan, putting them in, you know what I'm saying, chains and throwing them somewhere in some pit that ain't got no bottom to, but that ain't what this is talking about. So first we're gonna break down pit. We're gonna see what's the Bible referring to when it said pit. Then we're gonna break on why it calls this pit the bottomless pit. So give me second Ezra 5, verse 24, so we can see what pit is referring to.
Con.
Second Ezra 5, verse 24.
This is
Book of Second Esdras. Second Esdras, chapter 5, verse 24. And of all the lands of the whole world, thou hast chosen thee one pit.
So that right there, so that right there goes to show you when the Bible, when you read the book of Revelation, 20th chapter, you know what I'm saying, when John the Revelator was receiving these visions, and he said, bottom of this pit, he's not talking about a big hole somewhere, you know what I'm saying, that's never, that has no bottom, that Satan is just falling chained up forever. No, when you see pit, it's referring to an area of land. We just proved it with 2 Ezra 5, verse 24. So now we're trying to show you, go into the book of Revelation, the 9th chapter, to show you this land and what land is called the bottomless pit and why it's called that. So bring out that Revelation, the 9th chapter. Now we're not gonna break down the whole, you know what I'm saying, book of Revelation, the 9th chapter. We just want to get, you know what I'm saying, the main point of what we trying to break down. So start at verse 2. But just to, you know what I'm saying, sum it up, when you go into the book of Revelation, the 9th chapter, when John the Revelator, these visions, and you know what I'm saying, he's writing down and he's receiving, he's going into, he's basically describing World War I and World War II. That's what basically he's describing in the book of Revelation, the 9th chapter. So start Revelation 9, verse 2.
Hey, this is the book of Revelation, chapter 9, verse 2. And he opened the bottomless pit, and there arose a smoke out of the pit, as the smoke of a great furnace, and the sun and the air were darkened by reason of the smoke of the pit.
So he said he opened the bottomless pit and smoke arose out of that pit like a furnace. That's going into, you know what I'm saying, the World War I that was taking place, right? Brother got any images, can pull up that smoke. Yeah, so you see that, you know what I'm saying, when you look at those images, you know what I'm saying, you see the images of World War I taking place and you see that smoke. This is what John the Revelator was seeing, right? He was seeing that smoke going up into the air and darkening the skies and everything. That smoke is dealing with, you know what I'm saying, all the weapons that they was using during, you know what I'm saying, to fight World War I, right? They was using machine guns, they was using grenades, they was using flamethrowers, they was using, you know what I'm saying, poisonous gas, all that created that smoke that you seeing on these images. So that's what John the Revelator is trying to describe
Con,
to us. And it said, okay, so and some brother can look up and see where did World War One, the main place World War One took place, was fought at, the mainland. This will let you know what the bottomless pit is referring to.
so we already know it's Europe, man.
Yeah. I just want to, pull up something just to prove it to 'em. You know how Jake is. But yeah,
Con,
that's dealing with Europe. Europe is the bottomless pit. You know what I'm saying? That's what World War One took place. That's what John the Revelator is describing. So yeah,
oh, fuck, man. Let's see.
I think I got it in my phone. I put it. I got it up. Oh yeah, it's the where was World War One mainly fought? Europe. So you know what I'm saying? Like right here, it tell you.
Con,
So World War One was mainly fought in Europe. So we go back to Revelation the 20th chapter. So we done prove and show that the pit is referring to an area of land, and what area of land is referring to is Europe, and it's called
con,
bottomless because why? Because Europe lacks, you know what I'm saying, a lot of natural resources. Europe lacks like natural gas, oil, and you know what I'm saying, a lot of different metals. So Europe, you know what I'm saying, has to get a lot of their resources imported in from different lands, different countries. That's why Europe is being described as the bottomless pit because it lacks natural resources.
con. I think the resources that they had was like charcoal and iron ore or something like that, man. That's right. It lacks those other natural resources, man. That's why they rob and pillage the so-called continent of Africa, man. To steal their resources. You know what I'm
Right. Yeah, so you want to add, cause up?
No, I was just gonna say, that's kind of what's going on right now today is a direct result of the lack of resources that's in Europe. The Ukrainian conflict, the sanction, and
saying?
they even came out to say that the sanctions that NATO and the EU have levied against Russia are actually helping Russia and hurting NATO and the EU to include America. So,
Con, man, because I mean, you're right, man. It actually hurt the EU and America, man, because Russia's still dealing, man. It's dealing with other nations. They trying to get rid of that fiat currency, as we covered before, man, and establishing BRICS, man. Brazil, Russia, and then South Africa, man. So yeah, it ain't hurting Russia, man. They still thriving, bro. But what verse you want me to start at getting?
Oh, you go back to verse 2.
Con.
So we done broke down what the bottomless pit is referring to an area of land. The area of land is dealing with Europe. It's bottomless because it lacks natural resources, right? Okay.
Con.
Go ahead.
This is Book of Revelation, chapter 20, verse 2. And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent.
Hold on, you can start right there now. You know what I'm saying? Break down what the dragon is referring to. Go to Revelation chapter 12, start at verse 1. This dragon is not referring to the mythological creature, you know what I'm saying, that Esau puts in movies, in his cartoon and stuff like that. This dragon, as we're going to prove in Revelation, the 12th chapter, is referring to an empire, a nation, a race of people. So,
Revelation chapter 12, verse 1. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet.
Now we not, continue on.
And upon her head a crown of 12 stars.
Right,
and
now we'll go into you can start right there. Now we'll go into this chapter and break this whole chapter down in a later class, Lord willing. But you know, so we're just gonna run through. We ain't finna bring out all the precepts to go along with it. You know, I'm just gonna break it down and show what it's talking about. So when he said there appeared in heaven a woman, that woman is referring to the nation of Israel. You know, plenty of precepts we can prove that Israel always being compared to a woman. So that woman is speaking about the nation of Israel. Sun and moon is representing knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, right? So it said, and upon her head 12 stars that's going into the 12 tribes. So go ahead.
And she being with child cried, travailing in birth, and pain to be delivered.
Right. So who is that child? Who is that child that she's you know what I'm saying, pain to be delivered with? All right, brother, want to speak on that?
Shit, how was shot, huh?
Con. All right. Continue
Con,
on.
and there appeared Con, and there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon,
So it said there appeared another woman in heaven. Behold, a great red dragon. Read.
having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his heads.
Right.
And,
All right. Go ahead.
and his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born.
Right. So that red dragon is speaking about this time the Roman Empire. That's that red dragon is speaking about who we you know what I'm saying see today as EU, NATO, America, basically dealing with the European nation. They're all their empires, right? And it said, you know what I'm saying, he drew the third part of the stars of heaven. That represents the three stars represent Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. Because they were the main tribes that were still in the land of Israel during you know what I'm saying, during that time, right? Because you know the northern kingdom brothers, 10 tribes, the majority of them was over here. No, it was a remnant them left with us, but it was mainly the 3 tribes, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. They cast us to the earth. They oppressed us, put us into captivity. Then they eventually, you know what I'm saying, drove us out of the land of Israel. That's how they cast us to the earth, right? And it said the woman was ready to be delivered for to devour her child. So who was trying to put Christ to death when he was you know what I'm saying, when he was born? Herod. King Herod, right? And when you look at Herod's ancestry, Herod was what? Idumean. Idumean is a Greek and Roman way for saying Edomite. So this red dragon, this is speaking about a nation, an empire of people. That nation, empire is Edom, Esau, Edom, you know what I'm saying, Idumean, which is the so-called white man. So go back to Revelation, the 20th chapter.
God, this is the book of Revelation, chapter 20, verse 2. He laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil.
And when they say that, when they say that old serpent, that just old is just giving an adjective. So it's saying in serpent, it's just giving the characteristics of this nation of people. You know what I'm saying? We see that throughout the Bible. We see that with Yahushua called the Pharisees serpent. So this is not talking about a literal serpent. It's just giving the characteristics of this nation of people, which is Esau, Edom, right? So and it says the devil. Devil just means what? Deceive. It comes from the Latin word diablo, which just means deceiver. And it said, and it bound him 1,000 years. So now John the Revelator seeing a period in time, which is Esau, Edom, was bound for 1,000 years. And brother can look it up. You know what I'm saying? Look at how long did the dark ages last? Brothers, look that up. Because this is what John the Revelator is describing. This is the period of time that happened roughly around 1,000 or 1,100 years is when this great dragon, this nation, was bound. It was during its period of what we call the Dark Ages, Middle Ages, or medieval era. Right to look that up. How long did the Dark Ages last?
Khan says, how many years were the Dark Ages? Answer, between 800 to 1,000 years.
Right, so this is what John the Revelator seen. Like say he's seen the so-called white man Esau, his empire, you know what I'm saying, them being bound, them having, you know what I'm saying, for that 1,000-year period. That's when Jake was ruling, but it wasn't only Jake, you know what I'm saying, it was a lot of the melanated nation during that time. You had Jake that was ruling, you had our brothers, the Northern Kingdom that was ruling, had their empire over here on this side of the world. You had Hamites had their own empire, Asians had their own empire. So that's what John the Revelator seeing. He's seeing that 1,000-year period which took place during what we call today as the Dark Ages. All right, read verse 3.
Hey, Con, I'm just going back to what you were saying about the, you know, the man being described as beast, man. If you go to Ecclesiastes 3 and 18, I'll go ahead and read it.
Come.
And it said, I said in my heart concerning the state of the sons of men, that Most High might manifest them, and that they might see that they themselves are beasts. So when it's
Con,
making that comparison, as you said, man, it's not talking about a literal dragon, man. It's
right.
comparing the nation of people, man, to that
Con,
red dragon. You know what I'm saying?
con. Praise. Let's go ahead and pull out the precept too. How shall call the Pharisees serpents too? Show that it's not, they weren't literal serpents. Just, you know what I'm saying, describing their characteristics. So, what it is, Matthew 23, verse 33.
I'll get that for you.
We'll start at verse 29, then jump to verse 33. Show who it's talking about.
Matthew, you said Matthew 23.
Start at verse 29, so we can get a context of who it's talking about.
Matthew chapter
23, verse 29. Yeah,
verse 29, and it reads, "Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, because ye build the tombs of the prophets and garnish the sepulchres of the righteous." And he said, go to 33. Ye serpents, ye generation of vipers, how can ye escape the damnation of hell?
Right, so we see that, you know what I'm saying? You see a group of men, which were the Pharisees and Sadducees, being described as serpents. So they wasn't literal serpents walking around on earth. These was men, but it was called serpents because why? Because of that, those were the characteristics and their works, man. They was wicked, right? They was being basically hypocrites because they was teaching the law, but then behind closed doors, they was, you know what I'm saying, breaking the law. So that's why Christ had to call them serpents, right? Because of them in their wickedness. Okay, so go back to Revelation 20.
Con, you can also see if you go to Acts chapter 10, man.
Bring it up.
Start verse 1, man.
Bring it
Acts
up.
chapter 10, verse 1. There was a certain man in Caesarea called Cornelius, a centurion of the band called the Italian band, a devout man, and one that feared the Most High with all his house, which gave much alms to the people, and prayed to the Most High always. He saw in a vision, evidently about the ninth hour of the day, an angel of the Most High coming in to him, saying unto him, Cornelius. And when he looked on him, he was afraid and said, What is it, Lord? And he said unto him, Thy prayers and thine alms are come up for a memorial before the Most High. And now send men to Joppa and call for one Simon, whose surname is Peter. He lodges with one Simon, a tanner, whose house is by the seaside. He shall tell thee what thou oughtest to do. When he saw the angel which spake unto Cornelius departed, he called two of his household servants, and a devout soldier of them that waited on him continually. And when he had declared all these things unto them, he sent them to Joppa. On the morrow, as they went on their journey, and drew nigh unto the city, Peter went up upon the household to pray about the 6th hour. And he became very hungry, and would have eaten. But while they made ready, he fell into a trance, and saw heaven open, and a certain vessel descending unto him, as there had been a great sheet knit at the four corners, and let down to the earth, where all manner of four-footed beasts of the earth, and wild beasts, and creeping things, and fowls of the air. And there came a voice to him, Rise, Peter, kill and eat. But Peter said not so, Lord, for I have never eaten anything that is common or unclean. And the voice spake unto him again the second time, What the Most High has cleansed, that call thou not Salaki, that call not thou common. This was done thrice, and the vessel was received up again into heaven. Now while Peter doubted in himself what this vision which he had seen should mean, behold, the men which were sent from Cornelius had made inquiry for Simon's house, and stood before the gate. So these four-footed beasts that Peter saw in that trance, that vision, were not actual beasts. They represented these four men that were sent to him by Cornelius. So
That's
there
right.
again, Most High is using an analogy between men and beasts, wherein he used beasts to describe actual men.
Perfect. Man, we you know what I'm saying? We talking that same type of language today. You know what I'm saying? That's how you know this Bible was written, you know what I'm saying, by our forefathers, black men. Because we talk that same
Con,
type of lingo today, man. The same type of talk. You like, if you got a person, a so-called friend, that person dirty, backstab, you know what I'm saying, untrustworthy, what you gonna call? You gonna call them a snake? It's the same thing they were saying,
con,
man. You know what I'm saying? You call
con,
people, we call what? We call police is what? We call them pigs. Are they literally, are they really pigs, man? No, that's just how we talk.
con.
You know what I'm saying? You'll call somebody that's untrustworthy, a backstabber, a snake. We call police pigs. We call our homeboys dogs. Are we really dogs? You know what I'm saying? That's just the way, you know what I'm saying, they talk, man. So,
Con. Yeah, Howard Shot called somebody a dog, man. I called the woman.
yeah,
So
he
yeah,
He
did in a
called
that's what he
disrespectful
called,
way
man.
though. You know, we
he
do it,
called
we do it
Herod a
in, you know what
fox.
I'm saying, a brotherhood type of way. Howard Shot did it in a disrespectful type of way.
Now, he
Con,
called
man.
Herod a fox though. And so yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
Yup.
yeah.
So
So
we see people can be referred, you know what I'm saying, be called different type of beasts and stuff, man.
so yeah, that's the point. Um, a lot of people don't see the people in the scriptures as real people.
Con,
It doesn't fit their line of reasoning. We understand that we are those people, so we understand we use colorful language,
con,
right?
con,
So when people like a Christian perspective is not gonna be like using that colorful language, so they're too literal in a lot of aspects of the scriptures, and that,
right.
like I said, there's one reason you don't understand the scriptures is because you don't follow the scriptures.
Con. So how do you get it? What does the Bible say? The people who got a good understanding, those who keep my commandment, a good understanding, have they roughly paraphrasing, right? Now you got to be keeping the commandments to get the understanding. If you're not, like the brother was just bringing out, you know what I'm saying? You're not keeping the commandment, the Lord is not gonna give you the understanding of these scriptures. It tell you that. I think Wisdom of Solomon, when it says wisdom would not enter into a malicious soul. You know what I'm saying? So the Lord ain't gonna give you that wisdom and understanding, man, unless you repent and keep these commandments. Because that's the beginning of wisdom, is keeping the commandment. So,
Con.
you go back there, Revelation 20. Now we finna break down Satan.
con. This is Book of Revelation, chapter 20, verse 3.
Go
And
back to
cast
verse
him
2 so
into
we
the
can break,
bottomless pit.
yeah, break down that Satan.
So, Salakia. Verse 2. And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is a devil and Satan, and bowed him 1,000 years.
Right. So now Christians are thinking that it's talking about the literal being Satan himself, Hashatan. That's how you pronounce it in the Hebrew. So we're gonna go there, you know what I'm saying? Not only Satan can be called Satan, but we're gonna go to a precept to show you that angel being called Satan. We're gonna go to a precept to show you that man, a fleshly man being called Satan. Then we're gonna go to a precept to show you that a group of people can be referred to as Satan. So get Job 1:6 first. This is gonna show you Satan himself being called by the name of Satan. Job 1:6.
This is the book of Job, chapter 1, verse 6. And there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came also among them. And the Lord said unto Satan, Whence comest thou? Then Satan answered the Lord and said, From going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it. And the
Right.
Lord said unto Satan, Hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and upright man, one that feareth God and escheweth evil? Then Satan answered the Lord and said, Doth Job fear God for naught? Hast not thou made an hedge about him, and about his house, and about all that he hath on every side? Thou hast blessed the work of his hands, and his substance is increased in the land.
Right.
But put
So
forth,
basically the Most High having a conversation with the spiritual being Satan himself about his servant Job, who was upright. and righteous man. But the point I wanted to show is that Satan, you know what I'm saying, said when the Lord asked Satan what he was, he said from going to and fro and down up in the earth. This right here showing that Satan is not nowhere bound. Man. The Lord gives Satan the will to go to and fro on the earth as he pleases. Satan is not bound. The spirits of being Satan is not bound anywhere, man. So when you read Revelation 20 chapter, it says Satan was bound. It's not talking about the spirits of being, because he goes, as we just proved, he goes to and fro on the earth, up and down as he pleases. Right? So I want to get let me get Matthew 16 verse 23 to show you a fleshly man is being called Satan too. And then give me a 1 Samuel 19:22. Now before you get that, give me Numbers 32 verse 22. Show you that an angel is being called Satan. Numbers 32 verse 22.
Book of Numbers, chapter 32, verse 22. And the land be subdued before the Lord, and then afterward ye shall return and be guiltless before the Lord and before Israel, and this land shall be your possession before the Lord. You said Numbers 32 and 22?
That might be the wrong one. Let me see. By the angel, you know what I'm saying, enter into the donkey, and then he'll withstanding the brother. Let me see. Well, bring out that Ezekiel, bring out that Matthew 16 verse 23 first. So I'll find it. It's 20 Numbers 32. Got it wrong.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 16, verse 23. But he turned and said unto Peter, Get thee behind me, Satan. Thou art an offense unto me. For thou savoreth not the things that be of God, but those that be of men. So that right there.
So we just go ahead and break it down.
Yeah, so right there he's referring to Peter as Satan. And we know that Peter himself is not the spiritual name of Satan, he's a man. But it's because he was going against the things of the Most High, or speaking against the things of the Most High, that Yahweh Shah referred to him as Satan. He's not actually a spiritual demon, Satan himself.
Right. So go to 1 Samuel 19:22. Oh, it's Numbers 22:32. So like Numbers 22:32. Show you that an angel of the Lord is being called Satan.
Numbers 22:32. I must be dyslexic. I called it wrong all backwards, didn't I?
No, I had it written. You called it the way I had it written down, because I had it written down backwards. That's on me.
Numbers 22 verse 32. And the angel of the Lord said unto him, Wherefore hast thou smitten thine ass these 3 times? Behold, I went out to withstand thee.
To do what? To
withstand thee. Because thy way is perverse before me.
Now, somebody probably say, man, the word Satan ain't used there, because they don't go into the languages that the scripture was written in before they was translated. So somebody look up the word withstand in the blue letter to show you that this is the word withstand. Adversary and Satan is all the same word being used. Shatan, all the same thing. So when you see those words in the scriptures in the Old Testament, it's the word Satan is being used for it. So somebody go into the blue letter, look up withstand.
Bible to withstand thee, H7854, Shatan.
Come. So right. So that is what this is, an angel being called Satan. So we seen Satan himself being called Satan. We just went to the Matthew 16, seen the Lord Hamashiach Yahushua calling one of his top apostles Satan. And now we're going to show you what a group of people is being referred to as Satan too. 1 Samuel 19, verse 22.
1 Samuel verse 19, chapter 19, verse 22. Then went he also to Ramah, and came to a great well that is in Seku. And he asked and said, Where is Samuel and David? And one said, Behold, they be at Naioth in Ramah. And he went thither to Naioth and Ramah, and the Spirit of God was upon him also. And he went on and
That
prophesied.
ain't, that ain't what I'm looking for. These sons of Zora. Ezekiel, say something real quick while I look for the precept. Again, let me see. This is the prophesy. Hey, Ezekiel, Kazak, say something real quick while I look for the precept.
Con. Just back to the what about this Satan, like even this means adversary or to come against, and it's usually in relation to the word of the Most High or whatever the Most High lays down. So Satan ain't just in your mind some little red dude with a tail with pitchfork and horns. That's not what Satan is.
2 Samuel 19:22. 2 Samuel chapter 19, verse 22.
2 Samuel chapter 19, verse 22. And David said, "What have I to do with you, ye sons of Zariah, that ye should this day be adversaries unto me?"
Right. There go that word. There go the word Satan. Adversary, Satan, withstand, all the same words. So we saw King David is calling these group of men Satan. These group of, I think it was his sister kids, if I ain't mistaken. I think these are King David's nephew. But you know what I'm saying? He's showing that these group of men are being called Satan. So we can go back to Revelation the 20th chapter. So we prove that Satan himself can be called Satan. Prove that an angel of the Lord can be called Satan. Prove that one man, as you see Peter being called Satan, and we've seen that a group of people can be called Satan. So when you go to Revelation the 20th chapter, Satan is referring to a group of people, or ethnicity, or race, or nationality of people. And that people is Esau, Edom, who is the so-called white man today.
Con. Let's start back at verse 3. And cast him into the bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more, till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled. And after that, he must be loosed a little season.
Right, and that seal that was set upon him, that chain, him being bound, is him being in Europe, you know what I'm saying, being in a lower state. It was in a lower state socially, economically, and education wise. You know what I'm saying? The white man he didn't have dominion, rulership over the earth during this time, and he didn't have his influence over the world during this time. They was living in a lower state. They was being a base man that the Lord, you know what I'm saying, created them to be. And they said they was even eating lights out each other's head during that time, man. There was an uncivilized nation during this 1,000-year period. They wasn't in rulership. And I know the white man like to tell us that they taught us, they came to the west coast of Africa and all that and taught us how to be civilized. But that's a lie. We had to teach the white man how to be civilized, you know what I'm saying, all over again. And that's when they came up for that little season. We finna show you what that little season is talking about. Give me Malachi, the book of Malachi, chapter 1, verse 4.
Con. Book of Malachi, chapter 1, verse 4. Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down.
Right. So when was Esau, Edom impoverished? They was impoverished during that 1,000 years when they had that seal set upon them, when they had that chain on them. They was impoverished. They was in a lower state in the land of Europe, because before the Lord had them drawn to Europe, because you know Esau, they was everywhere. But the Lord, you know what I'm saying, had them drawn into Europe to put them in their lower state. But they said after this, we're gonna return. When did they return? During what's called the Renaissance era. Renaissance means rebirth. Rebirth for what? Rebirth. They were reborn, and so you know what I'm saying, coming back into power. That's that little season that they was loose for during the Renaissance era. After that 1,000 years, the so-called white man came back into power. So you continue reading out.
You you good?
Yeah, you continue to read. Finish that Malachi 1 verse 4.
Come, Malachi 1 verse 4. They shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the
Right.
people
So
against whom the Lord
go ahead.
and the people against whom the Lord shall have indignation forever.
That's right, man. So the Lord said you should call them the border of wickedness. Mean wherever Esau or Edom is at, wickedness is gonna be right there. You know what I'm saying? We see that today. Wherever the white man goes, he bring death, hell, and destruction. He bring wickedness, man. We see him pushing out all this
Wow.
homosexual, this you know what I'm saying, alphabet community people, man. That's why he said they should be called the border of wickedness. Wherever they're at, wickedness is gonna be right there in the midst of this nation of people, man. And the Lord said he has indignation with them forever. So the Lord is, indignation, this righteous anger the Lord has towards this nation of people, which is the so-called white man today. Their biblical name is Esau, Edom. So that's their little season. That's their little season that they was loose for during the Renaissance era, right? Rebirth, right? So we go back to Revelation 20.
Come, Revelation 20 verse 4. And I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Jesus and for the word of God, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands, and they lived and reigned with Christ 1,000 years.
Right? Ezekiel, you want to go into that?
Verse 5, man, when it said, but the rest of the dead live not again until the 1,000 years was finished. This is the first resurrection. So verse 4, man, is talking about specifically Israelites in that first resurrection, man. And the verse below it is talking about Israel as well. So we've been taught that verse 5 is talking about the rest of the nations, so we know that we're gonna have the nations in hard bondage. But when you go into the word dead, man, hold on for a minute, pull it up. You go into the word rest, which is from the Greek 50 and 55. It's talking about to bring to a close finish. And, let's go back. Shlaki Aki. My Bible crashed on me.
Oh, you good, huh?
Hold on, man. I'm having problems on here. All right, so when you go into the word rest, man, which is and Shlaki, I gave you the incorrect breakdown before. It was rest G3062, which says remain, duration, with a certain distinction and contrast. The rest, who are not a specific class. So when it's talking about the other nations,
Hey,
because
you
spiritually
have one out.
speaking,
Hey, you have one out. You go in and out. You have one out.
what about
So
now?
go back over
Can
there.
you hear me now?
Yeah, we hear you.
All right, come. So when it's talking about the rest of the dead live again, man. So it's not talking about the other nations, because spiritually speaking, the other nations are spiritually dead, although they're walking around, breathing and stuff like that. They may be physically alive, but spiritually they're dead, man. So if you go into that Ezekiel 37, let's get that, bro.
What verse?
Start at verse 1, man.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 37, verse 1. The hand of the Lord was upon me and carried me out in the spirit of the Lord and set me down in the midst of the valley, which was full of bones. Verse 2. And caused me to pass by them round about. And behold, there was very many in the open valley. And lo, they were very dry. And he said unto me, Son of man, can these bones live? And I answered, O Lord God, thou knowest.
So
Verse
we
4.
know that these bones are representative. So we know these dry bones that have been referenced here are representative of Israelites, man. So they're dry. So They're not. We're not physically dead. It's talking about spiritually dead, man. Go ahead.
Come. Verse 4. Again he said unto me, prophesy upon these bones, and say unto them, O ye dry bones, hear the word of the Lord. Thus said the Lord God unto these bones, behold, I will cause breath to enter into you, and ye shall live.
Keep going up. We'll go down to verse
And
10.
I will lay sinews upon you, and will bring upon flesh upon you, and cover you with skin, and put breath in you, and ye shall live, and ye shall know that I am the Lord.
All right. So again, man, this is going to the breath comes back into us, man, around 1969, 1970. Most High began to put His Spirit back on us, and we began to live because He put
Come,
His Word back in us, man. So when you go back to Revelations chapter 20 and verse 5, man, when it's talking about the rest of the rest of the dead
come,
is referring to the two-thirds. It's not referring
right,
to the other nations,
right,
because as we stated before, the other nations are still spiritually dead, and it said, "Live not again," meaning
come,
they would have had to been alive in the first place, meaning spiritually alive in the first place to be living again. So if you go into uh, A326, it says to a better moral state to revive, regain strength and vigor. Now we know that Israel that we had the life because the Most High gave us he gave us his word, his law, statutes, commandments. The other nations were without that. They never had that. Uh, so let's go into Revelations 2 and 26, man.
the book of
Revelation,
Revelation. Yeah.
book of
Mike
Revelation,
got that.
chapter 2, verse 26. 21. Said 2 and 26. Oh, I'm in the wrong.
Yeah, 2 and 26, man.
Yeah, I flipped to the wrong. Okay, the book of Revelation, chapter 2, verse 26. And he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations.
So when we reign with Yahweh Shah for this 1,000 years, it's going to be the 1/3 who overcame. The 2/3 haven't overcame yet. That's why they're going to
Come,
suffer that second death. So that's why when it says in verse 5, and they live and reign with Christ 1,000 years, that's going to be the reward of the 1/3 that repent and don't go into that lake of fire. And the rest of the dead, I mean, I don't know how long, the Most High is going to keep them in the spirit world or whatever, keep them in the lake of fire, but they're not going to live again until after the 1,000 years.
come. Can't hear you up.
Ezekiel, you still on?
Finished.
Ezekiel, we can't hear you.
You guys,
Yeah,
you
we,
guys
In the
can hear me?
matrix. Yeah, you was in the matrix.
Hold on, man, I'm having problems again.
Yeah, you was doing that John Wick thing too, boy. That Neo.
right.
Hold on,
Oh,
man, I'm
my-
having a problem. I'm having computer issues, man.
yeah, we hear you now.
Are you?
Yeah,
All right. Yeah, so that 1,000 years of reigning with Yahweh Shah, man. That's talking about those who overcome, man. Because as we were going in verse 5, man, the rest of the dead, I mean, the rest of the Israelites, the 2/3, are not going to live again. It's not talking about the other nations, because as we just covered, the other nations are not spiritually living. Man, they would have
come.
to have been alive at one point, which they are not. It's the Israelites that it's talking about. But the rest of the dead live not again till after the 1,000 years is finished. This is the first resurrection. And then blessed and holy is he that has part in the first resurrection. On such the second death has no power, but they shall be priests of God and of Hamashiach, and shall reign with him 1,000 years. So the verse 5 can't be talking about the other nations, man. It has to be talking about Israel, that 2/3 is going to live again after 1,000 years, after we have the nations in hardcore bondage. And the
Con,
word, I mean, the earth has been renewed, man. So that's what it's talking about. It's talking about the 2/3 living again.
that's right. The second death, like we said, is a lake of fire, man. Which is America's gonna be destroyed by ICBM missiles from the other nations. That's the second death, the lake of fire. First death, the
Con,
Lord destroyed the world by the flood. That was the first death. Second way the Lord is gonna destroy the world is gonna be by fire. That's the second death, right? So now verse 7. Now this is the verse right here that brothers is stumbling with and get confused over. This verse right when it gets to verse 7. Because if you
Con,
read, it's not going that like we said from the beginning of the class, can't read all this in chronological order. Get to verse 7. Verse 7, the context is now being changed. So somebody read, go ahead and read verse 7.
Con, Revelation chapter 20, verse 7. And when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison.
See, now they teach that after this 1,000 years is up, after the first 1,000 years of rulership with Christ on earth, then Satan is going to come back somehow, you know what I'm saying, get the courage, get the nerve to, you know what I'm saying, come out of prison and go back to war and war against Yahweh and the angels again. But when you get to verse 7, this verse is elaborating back to the first 3 verses. That's what you got to understand. Verse 7 is elaborating, adding more details to the first 3 verses. Verse 3, when it said that little seed that he loose for that little season, that's the same season right here that verse 7 is talking about when he's saying he's loose out of prison. He's going back into that same little season that happened during the Renaissance era when they came after the Dark Ages. So that's what verse 7 is referring to. It's not referring to the 1,000 years of Christ ruling on earth. No. So read verse 8. We're going to break it down some more.
Con, verse 8. And shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the 4 quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea.
Right. So there's the verse they use. They say, see, look, after that 1,000-year reign and rulership of Christ on his first 1,000 years on earth, there's going to be another war. One thing you got to know too, man, when you read these scriptures, man, if you read something and it ain't adding up with what the rest of the precepts is saying in the whole context of the Bible, it's saying that you need to reevaluate, go back into the understanding you got from this verse. Because if you're saying that after 1,000 years of Christ ruling on earth, that somehow this Gog and Magog are going to get back out and go and fight against Yahweh and the angels and the elect during that time, then we got to go to other scriptures to see what is that spoken of. Because when the angel, when John the Revelator seen the angel go across the sky, he said, woe 3 times. He didn't say 4 times. But if you're saying this is another war, this is another world war. If he's deceiving the nations to gather them and they're going to come and battle against Yahweh, and this is a whole another 4 world war right here that we speaking of. You say there's going to be a 4 world war and it's going to take place during the time of Christ's rulership on earth. That's not going to happen, man. After the 3rd world war, that's going to be the final war. The rest of the Bible lines up with it. The Valley of Jehoshaphat, Armageddon, whoa, 3 world wars, man. That's going to be the final war that's going to be fought on earth. That's going to, during that time is when Gog and Magog, because after America is destroyed, Yahweh angels, you know what I'm saying, they bring the elect back into the land. That's when the Gog and Magog, they're going to start fighting against each other and come, you know what I'm saying, come against Yahweh in the elect during that time. It tells you that, 2 Ezra, the 13th chapter, when they seen the man come out of the sea, speaking about Yahweh coming out of the skies, and that's when the other nations are going to stop fighting, stop the war they have with each other. They're going to come to fight against the man that they seen coming out of the sky. They're speaking about doing World War III. And to prove that when Christ reigns, sets up his kingdom in the nation of Israel on earth, it's going to be it's not going to be interrupted by war, man. It's going to be established forever. That 1,000 years of Christ's reign is speaking about his first 1,000 years. But it's going to be an interrupted time period, man. The kingdom of heaven is established on top of all the mountains. not gonna be war anymore. So we're gonna go into some precepts to prove that. Let's get Daniel 7 verse 13.
The book of Daniel, chapter 7, verse 13. And it reads, I saw in the night visions, and behold, one like the Son of Man came with the clouds of heaven, and came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before him. And there was given him dominion and glory, and a kingdom that all people, nations, and languages should serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion, which shall not pass away, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed.
Right. So that's speaking about Yahushua when he was called up with the clouds, speaking about the chariot, but he was given a kingdom, right? And his kingdom should never be, destroyed. His kingdom he was given his kingdom is going to be him ruling on earth above all nations with the elect men ruling up under him. Now give me Revelation 11 verse 15. There's Ezekiel, bring out Isaiah chapter 2 verse 2. Revelation 11 verse 15, Isaiah 2 verse 2.
Revelation chapter 11 verse 15. And the seventh angel sounded, and there were great voices in heaven, saying, the kingdoms of this world are become the kingdoms of our Lord and of his Christ, and he shall reign forever and ever.
Right. So the seventh angel is the last angel that's going to sound. And it said, what the kingdoms of this world has become the kingdom of our Lord, and he shall reign forever and ever. So when Christ comes back, going in the midst of World War III, and we subduing and taking down these nations, no other nation is going to rise up against Christ. His kingdom is going to be forever. Again, Isaiah chapter 2 verse 2.
Isaiah chapter 2 verse 2. And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it.
Right. So mountains, when you read the scriptures, a lot of times when you see mountains and hills, is referring to kingdoms or government. Mountains represent larger kingdoms or larger governments. Hills represent smaller kingdoms or smaller government. So it said that the mountain of the Lord is going to be established above all mountains. Meaning what? The Lord's government, the Lord's kingdom, under Hamashiach Yahushua and 144,000, and the rest of the Israelites going to be the top nation on earth, right? So go ahead.
You want me to continue on?
Yes.
In Isaiah verse 3. And many people shall go and say, come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the God of Jacob. And he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law, and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem.
Continue on.
And he shall judge among the nations, and shall rebuke many people, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore.
Right. So this is showing you right here and proving that in the kingdom, these nations are not going to be learning war. So ain't no after no 1,000 years, Gog and Magog somehow going to get the nations and convince them to go to war against Hamashiach Yahushua and the nation of Israel. Just said once the Lord kingdom is established, that kingdom is going to be established during that 1,000-year period. The kingdom is going to be established. So these nations are not going to be learning war anymore. Like you gotta think too, man. We in the kingdom, man. These nations are not going to be. They're going to be in hardcore abundance that first 1,000 years. They're not going to be somewhere thinking about war. They're not going to be somewhere have another Area 51 where they're somewhere training their military, where they somewhere, getting weapons, and we just don't know what's like. We don't know what's going on. The Lord said we're going to be as God in the kingdom. You know what I'm saying? But they somewhere in a mountain or in a cave somewhere training their army, training their Air Force, training their Marines, their Navy, and all that. Like, man, after this 1,000 years, man, we got a chance this time, man. We done stole one of their chariots. We done reverse engineered that. man, look, man, I know, hey, look, bro, we had Satan 2 that destroyed America, but now we finna get a team of scientists. Man, hey, look, they're gonna create another missile. It's gonna be called Satan 10 missile. Cause man, we got some kryptonite, man. We see how kryptonite defeated Superman. So you know what I'm saying? Hey, look, man, they guys. So we got some kryptonite. We're gonna make this Satan 10 missile out of kryptonite, and we're gonna be able to overtake them and conquer them after this 1,000 year, man. No, that's
Man.
not what we're gonna do.
I mean, that makes absolutely no sense, man. Your Howard Shah is gonna be reigning on Earth, bro. And I mean, you're gonna have chariots, angels everywhere, as you said, man. We're gonna be like gods, man. So ain't nobody gonna be able to sneak off, man, and go steal some parts and go hijack the chariot or something like that, man. They're gonna come up against us and wage war, man. I mean, shit, bro. They're gonna be in hardcore punch. We're gonna be teaching them our laws just like they taught us their paganism during that 1,000 years. We're gonna be teaching them the law. They're gonna be a hardcore.
They're gonna get the basic understanding.
Sun up, sundown, man. Getting the Sabbath off. Ain't no way they're gonna have time to go and plan no invasion where they're gonna try to come up against us. The whole world's gonna be at peace. You know what I'm saying? They ain't gonna learn. The nations are not gonna learn war in the morning, as you just said. So how is it that they're gonna come back out and they're gonna all of a sudden, come out and they're gonna, I guess get some pieces from their broken aircraft, man. Yahweh shot us through. They fighter jets and stuff like that, man. And they back there and they using those parts to reverse engineer, as you said, chariots, man, which is spiritual craft. You know what I'm saying? So how the hell are they gonna do that and come up against us, man? That makes absolutely no sense, man.
Because during that period, man, we're gonna have the nations, those dead bodies that's over there that have died. They're gonna be burying these bodies, man. They're gonna be in the weapons. We're gonna get their weapons. Their weapons are gonna be burnt, man. So you mean to tell me while we gathering their weapons and burning their weapons, they're gonna be sneaking some up under their shirt? Or boy gonna say, man, look, they sneak this AR-15 in your bag, man. Hey, Pooh, man, put this 9mm up under your shirt, man. Hey, man, you see that tank? Or that jet right up, man, hey, put some dirt on, push it behind that tree, we're gonna come back and get it. No, man, that's not gonna be going on. All their weapons are gonna be their military weapons, you know what I'm saying, their military vehicles, all of it gonna be gathered together and burnt. It tells you that in Ezekiel. Right. So go to Jeremiah 46, verse 27.
Jeremiah 46 and 27.
Come.
Book of Jeremiah.
Show you that this scripture right here gonna show you that when we in the land, we're gonna be at risk. We ain't gonna have to worry about no other nation coming up and attacking us and starting war with us again.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 46, verse 27. But fear not thou, O my servant Jacob, and be not dismayed, O Israel, for behold, I will save thee from afar off, and thy seed from the land of their captivity.
And this right here again, this is a cut too. This is a cut to prove that those small heads, those people that's in the land that's warned, this right here is a straight cut to prove that they're not the people, because the Lord said He's gonna have to save them from far off, because we are scattered throughout the four corners of the earth in the lands of our enemies, right? So how can those people that's in the land now, claiming to be us, be the real true chosen people now, bro? They are not. Man. We blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we are God's chosen people.
God. And Jacob shall return and be in rest and at ease, and none shall make him afraid.
That's right, man. So when we return, Lord willing, we are those men, you know what I'm saying, these brothers that go out there and labor in sincerity and truth, man, brothers that don't have no other hidden agenda, brothers that just want to, you know what I'm saying, push this word to the best of their ability with the ministry that the Lord, with the ministry that the Lord enables them with, man, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully we are those men that's brought back into the land, and we're going to be at ease and we're going to be at rest during that time. We're not going to be worried about no other nation coming up with a plan to rebel against us during that 1,000-year period.
Verse 28.
I think that's it on that. Unless there's some more on that you want to bring out.
No, it's just more of the same. Just one more verse. More of the same.
All right, let me get that. Let me get Isaiah, I think chapter 60, verse 18. Yeah, Isaiah 60, verse 18.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 60, verse 18. Violence shall no more be heard in thy land, wasting nor destruction within thy borders. But thou shalt call thy walls salvation, and thy
Con,
gates praise.
wanna break that down, Kazak, brother Kazak?
It's just like you say, man. When all is said and done, it's just like them people over in that land saying that they the people, but yet they in the midst of a war right now. And not only are they in the midst of a war, they are violating all kind of policies that was laid down by the war councils of their own people.
Con,
No more be heard in that land, right? That whole land, Palestine and the state of Israel, that whole thing belongs to us. So they
that's right.
fighting over all of that. Why they fighting over all of that? There's violence in the land right now, wasting nor destruction within our borders. Like whatever goes on, all the genocide, the murder, the hard R word, all that stuff going on over there, that's violence. It's not supposed to be going on over there. Even a homosexual relationship is a form of violence, right? Wasting nor destruction, and that's all that's going over there right now. But thou shalt call thy wall salvation, right? When we get back to that land, we're supposed to have our rest. That land is our rest, right? Right now, there is no salvation for anybody in that land, right? That land is supposed to be at rest. That's why there's nothing built in the old Jerusalem to this day, right? It's sitting there desolate because the Most High said it was going to enjoy its Sabbath, and it's enjoying its Sabbath, right? And thy gates praise. So this ain't just literally talking about the land. This is talking about thy walls shall be called salvation, and thy gates praise. This is talking about Yahweh Shai and Yahweh, right? They are Yahweh Shai is our salvation. Yahweh's saves, right? And thy gates praise. This is going in the glory and the kingdom and everything that we've been talking about, that we talked about last week. The gospel is this is going into a culmination of that gospel, right? The sun shall be no more thy light by day, neither for brightness shall the moon give light unto thee, but Yahweh shall be unto thee an everlasting light, and thy God thy glory. And that's what I was just talking about. All this has to deal with in Isaiah is us serving the Most High and serving under our King and our light and our lamp. All right, so this is all that's going into. It ain't supposed to be no violence over there, right? That's the bottom line, and all this is yet to come. And it goes right back to Revelation 20, what we going into right now, anyway. Con, you can have it back. You got anything, Ezekiel?
Yeah, man. This is Jeremiah 3:15, man. I'm not sure if you brought that out because my
No, I
internet
didn't.
is acting up. So it says the Lord has taken away thy judgment and he has cast out thine enemies. The king.
You said that Jeremiah what out?
I said Zephaniah 3:15.
Oh, Zephaniah. Okay.
Yeah, it says the Lord has taken away thy judgment, he has cast out thine enemies. The king of Israel, even the Lord, is in the midst of thee. Thou shalt no more see evil again. So man, you know, once we taken out this captivity, we brought back in the land, man. We got those nations subdued, man. Ain't no other nation gonna come up against us after that, man. Gog and Magog ain't coming out of nowhere, man, and staging a secret attack, man. I mean, you're gonna have the Son of the Most High right here on earth, bro, with the angels, and you're gonna have us, lowercase. I pray we're amongst that numbers, lowercase g.
Malak. Correct. Malak.
Yeah.
Con.
So how is it that we ain't gonna know somebody planning a secret attack and come up against us? Man? We ain't never gonna see you again after that, man. Ain't no other nation gonna come up and try to fight against us, man. So I don't know where they understand it come from,
So
man.
they
But
go back to the
that
they go
makes
back
no
to the
no
fear of the Lord. Like after the
con
destruction gonna come, the Most High said who He's gonna get rid of, right? And that should serve as an example to the rest of the nations not to play with the Most High like that, right?
con.
Come,
And you're gonna get rid
Like
of our number one enemy, man.
He gonna get
Esau.
rid of the one that served to cause the most destruction in the earth. Got to go,
Con,
right? And following that, and he said also, if you don't want to serve him, you were gonna perish.
come,
So,
con.
so we already know what nation of people that is that don't want to serve the Lord, because they've been teaching our people how to serve the Lord the way they want us to serve,
right,
instead of the way He want us to serve,
right.
right? And they lied to us and got us thinking that the way they serve Him is the right way, and now that we finding out that it's not, now we got a problem, right?
Come,
Now them ain't
Now
the
they want
people.
to demonize us, man.
Right now now they want to demonize it. They got the all the DLs, the ADL,
come.
the JDL, the they,
Southern Poverty Lawsuit on them.
yeah, they're gonna probably have the CDL coming against you too next, and you can't even
Come,
get a CDL
come.
because
That's why they
you had
created.
on
That's why they
fringes.
created that word anti-Semitism. That's the main reason why they created that word. You know what I'm saying? When the word only applies to them though. How is that when there's more nations that came out of
Con,
Shem? You know what I'm saying? So
But we
how
need to
when the term anti-Semitism is being used on it, replying to if you say anything negative about them, like
do that word just like we did the N word, man. We need to do
come,
that word just like we did the N word. It's like we
come,
need to take it. We need to take it back,
right?
right?
yeah, con, man. As you said, man, there's other nations that come out of Shem, man. I mean, the Arabs come out of Shem, man. So I mean,
Come,
it's anti-Semitic what's going on with them. You know what I'm saying? It was anti-Semitic what went on with the Northern Kingdom and the Southern Kingdom here in America, man. But ain't nobody bringing that up, man. It's only
yeah,
that
right.
word's only used to apply it with them, man, to victimize them. You know what I'm saying?
Come.
So
All right, go back to that second. I mean, go back to the Revelation.
Revelation chapter 20, verse 9. And they went up on the breadth of the earth and compassed the camp of the saints about, and the beloved city, and fire came down from Yahweh out of heaven and devoured them.
Like we said, this is gonna be taking place after America is destroyed. Somebody get in Second Ezra 13. Oh, yeah, Second Ezra 13. Start at verse 3.
I got you. This is a book of Second Ezra, chapter 13, verse 3. I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him.
So who is this
And when
man who is this man that waxing strong with the thousands of heaven? This is Hamashiach Yahawashah, who the world
God.
ended called Jesus Christ, right? With the thousands of heaven, because he's coming with the whole Michael and all the rest of the holy angels, right? So go ahead.
verse 4, and whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth falleth when it fleeth the fire.
Come.
And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea.
So this is what it's going into. When God and Magog are gonna come into the land, because they're gonna see how shot the angels and the late men, you know what I'm saying, coming down, coming out of those chairs, coming out of the wilderness, coming back into the land, and say they went to subdue the man that came out of the sea. It's not talking about he coming out of the Pacific Atlantic Ocean. Like he's in Atlantis somewhere, some long lost island that's up on the water. He's gonna come up out the sea, out the water. That ain't what it's talking about, because it was heaven. It's heaven. When you read the book of Genesis, heaven's above the firmament and heaven's below the firmament. So when they say he came out of the sea, they see him coming down from the heaven, from out the sky. Right? Go ahead.
And after this I beheld, And lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew up upon it. But I would have seen the region or place whereout the hill was graven, and I could not. And after
Right. So he
this,
gonna Yahweh gonna be in what they call a mothership. That's great mama. He gonna be in a large chariot.
the fathership, man.
Come.
Oh,
At verse 8, and after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were so afraid, and yet there's fight. And
Go to show you, man. So they
right.
gonna be afraid as hell when they see Yahweh don't come with all that power, man. But they still, the pride of them still gonna say, man, we finna go ahead and fight against them, man. What are you speaking about doing? All this gonna be taking place during World War III. Go ahead.
come, man, the Most High gonna put that spirit in them, man. Even though they're afraid, he gonna make them
Come.
fight.
Hey, just like he did with Pharaoh. He hardened Pharaoh's heart. Pharaoh seen all that power that the Lord did in Egypt. He seen what the Lord did when the Lord split the sea. But guess what? He still was so proud, like, man, look, we still finna go after them. You know what I'm saying? The Lord put hard in his heart to make him still go after the children of Israel. And the Lord closed the water in on them and destroyed them, man. So the Lord is gonna do the same thing to these men. You know what I'm saying? When they see Yahweh and the angels coming with all that power, the Lord gonna put the spirit on them and still feel like they can overcome him and subdue him during that time. So the Lord is gonna destroy them. Right?
Come. And lo, as he had saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war, but only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. That's that laser beam, man.
I was about to say, come.
Verse 11. And they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and a great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which were prepared to fight, and burned them up every one. So that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and a smell of smoke.
Come.
When I saw this, I was so afraid.
Right, that's it on it. So man, like you said, man, that's them laser beams that you be that them chariots shoot out, man. Concentrated fire is gonna be coming out of the chariots, destroying these nations, man. And the Lord said they're gonna be burned up and they're just gonna be smoke after the Lord get through with them, man. So go back to Revelation 20. They're like some you see Esau be doing in all these movies, Independence Day and all that. Man, it's gonna be an Independence Day, all right. They think they feel like they're gonna be, cause that's why they put all these things in their movies and all that. They feel like they're gonna be able to, cause the elite, they know who was in these chariots, man. They know,
Yep.
you know, so that's why they created what is called Space Force X or something doing Donald Trump.
Space Force, yeah. They
Come,
got the
Yeah.
Space Force, man. Yeah, they know what's coming, man. That's why they,
come,
that's why they got the Space Force, man. Why else would they create that, bro? Because they know
Yeah.
Yahweh Shah is coming from the sky, man.
come.
Right.
See, they know that, but they have to deceive our people. That's why we call them the devil, because they deceived our people. They've been conditioned in the minds of our people to think that these are some type of aliens or some type of predator. You know, I was watching the movie Predator the other day. I love the movie, but they don't deceive our people that it's some type of predators or alien that's coming, and we got to stand together to fight for our world. No, man. The elite know these these chariots that's coming is filled with Yahweh Shah and the angels, and they coming back to take this earth and rulership from the so-called white man. They know these things, man. Like you said, that's why they set up these things, organizations like Space Force X, and all that to fight against, to prepare to fight against Yahweh Shah and the angels.
Con. Verse 10. And the
That's why they
devil that
staging all
deceived
these
them.
fake. No,
Go
so that's
ahead,
why
Al.
they staging all these fake alien crashes. That's why they staging all these fake alien crashes too, man. Like
Come,
what was it, New Mexico or Arizona, something like that?
Yeah.
come,
Ship's supposed to be fell out of the sky, and they send like little grannies or
man.
whatever, man, peeking through the fence.
That's
That's crazy, man.
blasphemy, man. That's blasphemy, man. You
That's
think
right.
so? You saying these angels don't know how to drive chariots, man? Chariots don't even have gear. It tell you in Ezekiel, man. They move with the spirit, man. You know what I'm saying? Whatever way they want to go, they can go. You know what I'm saying? They ain't got no gear stick in there. It ain't got no engine like chariots coming back from coming out of the sky and the motor blew or something. They lost control of it and crashed. Man, all that is all that is a bunch of blasphemy, man.
Yeah, come on, man.
Con.
They gotta find some
Angel was
junkyard,
drunk.
man.
Angel was drunk, drinking while he was driving the chair and got too drunk, lost control of it and crashed, man. No, man, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Yeah, now they gotta find some junkyard, kidnap some scientists, some mechanic or something like that. They help them get their cherry back. Say, man, that's crazy
Cause,
talk.
cause then that happened recently too, where that video of them guys. I think it was in Nevada again, where those guys were talking about a cherry crashed in their backyard.
Yeah,
What that happened?
Yeah. Was that Colorado or Nevada? It was over there in that area though.
Nevada somewhere, man.
Yeah, it might have.
Yeah.
There's always out there though in that area.
Always.
Yeah.
But if a chariot crashed, well, I mean, what is the evidence? Ain't no, where is it at? Like, it just disappeared after it crashed? Like, you know what I'm saying? That's what, man.
No, they had it on the news. They had the aliens. They had the picture of the aliens and everything.
Oh, it is.
Right?
How
Yeah,
they
it was
supposed
all
to
on
look?
the news. Yeah, man, they was 10 feet tall. Looked like them sleep stack off the land of the lost, man.
See how people believe crazy shit like that.
It did. It was
Brother
tall.
believe that.
Looked like. Yeah, man, that was crazy.
Man, they
That
know
was
it's
just
black.
over
You know it's black angels on those cherries, man. Just like that retired NASA engineer, man.
Exactly. When he did that interview.
Yeah, I saw. Yeah, but these are like 10-foot tall, skinny, like humanoid kind of thing. But I don't know. It was because it was just looked like somebody with some Comic-Con stuff, man. That's what it looked like.
Hey, man, that must have been them crossbreeds, man, when they abduct all them Edomites, man.
Yeah, because hey, notice that
stuff like that,
when
man. That must be them hybrids.
Them reptilians.
Why white people the only people get abducted by aliens? I never heard a black person got abducted by aliens. Every time they get abducted, they always get sodomized. Why?
The theory behind that, what you just said is that them aliens is on our side. So they don't fool with us. That's the theory behind that.
They always get something stuck up in their back end. Like they got a pro stuck up in their butt, man. Come on, man. This on sick fantasy Esau game. Angels are not abducting white people, pulling their pants down, sticking something up in their butt.
Yeah, that's crazy. They had that in Independence Day too. I think they said something about that. Oh man, that's crazy.
Man, that's some sick sexual fantasy that Esau.
It is, man. It is, man. And who's to say maybe Esau? Who's to say maybe Esau is kidnapping these people and doing some type of brainwashing or mind control over them to make them feel like that is really what happened. You know, so we never know. But Esau has a lot of technology, so maybe he is kidnapping these people and doing experiments on them and brainwashing them, MK Ultra, mind control, whatever they got, and make them really feel like they was abducted by aliens and had a probe stuck up them. You know,
I think they doing it to them. They doing it to themselves, man. They so dirty. They'll experiment. They do it. Yeah, the white man is the devil. Anyway, and the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophet are.
Right, so this whole Esau whole system is gonna get destroyed, man. EU, NATO, all gonna get destroyed. False prophet dealing with the Catholic Church. You know what I'm saying? That's the false prophet is gonna get destroyed, man.
And shall be tormented day and night forever and ever.
All right. Keep going. Unless y'all want to say something about that.
And no, I'm good. And I saw a great white throne, and him that sat on it, from whose face the earth and the heaven fled away, and there was found no place for them. And I
they're not gonna be able to the so-called white man, these other nations, all these kingdoms that's ruling now, not gonna ever be able to come back into power or rulership no more.
And I saw the dead, small and great, stand before God, and the books were open. And another book was open, which is the book of life. And the dead were judged out of those things which were written in the books according to their works.
Right. That goes into the just and unjust being rose up. And whether if you're just, you're gonna be delivered. You're gonna escape the second death. But if you was unjust, you're gonna get judged according to your works, which is what the second death, the lake of fire.
Con, and then I want to make a point too. Like we had a class a couple of weeks ago about the works of the law, right? That works of the law that right here you're gonna be judged by your works. So don't let the church tell you, you ain't gonna be judged, but faith alone, grace alone, all that crap. You're gonna be judged by what you do in this world and what you don't do. You're gonna be judged according to your works. And we ain't talking about the works of the law. Like I said, we just did a class on that. We explained that was totally different than the law of Moses. You got to keep the law of Moses. Even Christ said you got to keep the law of Moses back in Matthew 19. But the point I want to make is, you're gonna be judged according to your works, right? And just a record of what your works are in these books. And here it is, right? You got anything on that, Ezekiel?
Yeah, I just want to say, if people ain't checked out that class, man, go back and check it out, man. Beautiful class done. You know what I'm saying? Led by Brother Kazak doing that class called Law Doesn't Mean the Law. I think that was the name of it, right? We're going into the worst of it. Y'all go, if you watching this class right here, go check out that video right there, man. Broken down beautifully. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, in verse 13. And the sea gave up the dead which were in it, and death and hell delivered up the dead which were in them. And they would judge every man according to their works. And death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death.
Man, that goes to show you too. This right here is a cut to there being a hell, man. Because Christians' concept of hell is that, well, hell is the lake of fire. But right here just say hell is going to be cast into the lake of fire. So what if hell is the lake of fire? What sense does it make casting it into another lake of fire? Makes no sense, man.
Con. And whosoever was not found written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire.
Y'all brothers want to say anything else, man, before we close out?
No, I'm good, man. I just want like that was a beautiful breakdown, brother. I just want to impress, man, on this last part, man. If your name ain't written in that book of life, man, you ain't gonna make it past that second death, man.
That's right.
So you got to keep the law, statutes, and commandments, and the faith of Christ. You got to keep the law, statutes, commandments, and the faith of Christ. Right?
You got to keep on pushing that in our people's head, man.
Right. And he that endureth to the end, the same shall be saved.
Right.
We know you gonna come up with, I'm only human, we ain't perfect, da. And I get mad when we be out on the street teaching when people say that, man, and I just be like, oh, so you ain't even gonna try. Right? That's that defeatist attitude of our people, man. Look, if you don't even want to try, man, then you need to come and look at this class right here that the brother so beautifully laid out for you, man. It's not gonna be a pretty end.
Got anything, Ezekiel? Ezekiel. Okay.
He must be.
He
must be having. Yeah, he back in the Matrix. Yeah, he back in the
Matrix. I don't want to close out without, you know what I'm saying, see if he got anything to add or say. He going out now.
Well, let me say that till if he come back in, man.
Go ahead.
You know, it is our heart's prayer and desire to God for Israel that they might be saved, right? Please come and if you got any questions about anything that we teach, feel free to leave a comment or something. If we get in touch with you, right? You can email us at israelinstitute@gmail.com, right? And we'll get back with you, right?
Ezekiel, you back on?
No, I don't have anything. Every time I try to, can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you now.
No, I don't have anything, man. Every time I try to talk, I get booted off. I don't have anything.
All right, all right. All right, with that, you know what I'm saying, we're finna close out, you know what I'm saying, hopefully, you know what I'm saying, our people was able to receive some understanding from this class with us and us brothers teaching it. So with that, we say shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom.